Hi, boys. Welcome to week 2. It was great to have a brief introduction to you via D2L and more importantly, to get our synchronous time on Adobe Connect gave me a sense of who you are as individuals and as a cohort. Thank you for your feedback regarding what's worked for you in the past working in D2L and in coursework in general. Specifically, I've got a list that you can review of things that I pulled that seem common across lots of your comments, and I'm going to continue in my effort to redesign the course and my role as the instructor throughout to reflect some of those insights that you shared. Week 2, we're going to start working with our I wish statement. It's important to note that you don't want to put too much stress on getting your I wish statement just right. Part of the nature of a design process is that we learn more about what we're hoping for and what our goals are through taking action and through engaging with stakeholders. So don't overthink it. Put forward your I wish, post it to the part A of our forum. And I also want you to include 3 or 4 questions, open-ended questions that will help both you think about what it is that your intentions are and also for others. Then what I'd like you to do is start engaging with each other's I wish statements by providing some suggestions for how one might respond to the I wish. Now, you don't know the context necessarily. I know for some of you have some understanding of each other's context, but the point of this exercise is not for you're not putting forward a suggestion as if they could use it exactly as is. More the point of this exercise of ideation is to help the person who created the I wish start to think about their I wish in a variety of different ways. It's truly a brainstorming exercise. What I'd like you to try to do is to draw, and you can certainly use labels and text headings, or even write your suggestions if drawing doesn't seem to work for you, and then just simply take a photograph and do that for a couple of your peers. You might give them 1 or 2 suggestions, or only 1 suggestion, maybe 2, 3 suggestions. This is meant to be quick. It's not meant to be overthought. It's an ideation protocol to support people to start thinking in more divergent ways about what's possible within their I wish, and it might even help them reframe or rethink their I wish. Also this week, we're going to start to build a bit of a research base for the design work that you carry out. There's an interesting balance in design-based leadership between being on how you strike the input to the design process. A lot of design is responding to user need and responding, as I've mentioned earlier, to testing and prototyping. However, I've been in design leadership in a number of over the last 5 years in lots of different schools, and there's also a need to balance the creative process with the constraints of and the needs of the larger organization. So in the next couple weeks, we're going to explore those tensions. How do you make sure that the input that you're putting into the design process aligns with the broader policy framework and the research around this area, yet is also open-ended and allows for it really to be emergent from user need and the experience of iteration? How do you make sure that if, as a school, everyone's exploring creativity and innovation through design processes, how do we keep coordinated to an extent, or what's the tie that binds to prevent a design culture to turn into one of initiative fatigue? Those are all challenges that we're going to wrestle with, and I'm going to walk you through some of the strategies that I've used in my career and get you to reflect on that throughout your work as a design leader. There's no clear-cut answer, but to that end, I'd like you to choose an article from a whole range of articles. There was a question during our synchronous session, how do I choose an article? That can be completely random. You could read the abstracts for them. You could just, based on the titles, you could read one that you think might challenge you based on the title. You could start one and drop it and start another. The point of this is to just help you reflect on the essential questions of this course and start to think about what design-based leadership means to you and what your practice might be. So pick an article that you think can do that. I'd also like you to watch the design mindset videos from IDEO. They're about 2-minute videos. For me, as I mentioned at our synchronous session, the mindsets are a lot more of the driver of my design work than a linear process. Quite often I'm switching between ideation and empathy and prototyping and testing within sometimes even a single activity. But what I keep reflecting back on is mindsets and how I try to grow towards behaving like and thinking like a designer. So IDEO is a design firm. I saw that at Rundle College, they're partnering with IDEO. I've gotten a chance to do some work with IDEO. And so I really respect the voices of the individuals on those videos. But as I also prefaced earlier, these aren't the be-all and end-all mindsets. You'll see a different list from D-School, from TELUS Spark, from Exploratorium at Rocky View Schools, in Calgary Board with Design the Shift, etc. So they're not meant to be the list, but a good starting point for us. And again, they're for you to start to think about which of these resonate for you as a design thinker and how might that live in your leadership practice. So in the post in part B, I'd like you to reflect on essentially our driving question: how are you going to shape your journey of becoming a design-based leader? There are some sub-questions that may or may not be helpful. The expectation is not that you'll take them up in a linear sense, as if it's a fill-in-the-blank worksheet. You can have your own prompts. The mindset videos and the article that you read are themselves a prompt for this exercise. Essentially, what I'm hoping that you can engage in is some reflection, which will be a scaffolding towards our learning task 3, where you're going to have the opportunity to articulate your design-based leadership vision and mission, which is going to get you to look at what you believe about leadership, how you're going to take up leadership, and really why you're engaging as a design-based leader. So we're starting to think about this right now, activating, of course, your previous experience and holding that together with these articles. I hope that gives you some context for the week ahead. And I've created a forum for Ask Josh at the top of our discussion threads, so that if there's things that you are thinking about or wondering, please don't hesitate to put those through to me. I don't know what you're thinking unless you provide me that insight. Of course, part of making these reflection posts visible and your I wish statements and ideation visible is that's going to give me lots of an idea of where you're at with your thinking and help me design the next components of our work together and what you need to hear from me. But questions are a great resource for me as well to get insight into what your needs are. So hope you have a great week, and I look forward to seeing what comes from our learning together this week. Bye for now.